What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? So, this is part three. This is going to be the conclusion. We're going to be trying to find the six MVP Titans between the tank team and the damage team. For starters, we are going to try to find the three Titans on each team that did the most. And if, let's say, for instance, like we say that uh, the Lord of Hell, Inferno, and the White Tiger are, you know, not as valuable as someone else over here, then one of them will just get eliminated and just go back here. Uh, so but I do kind of want to find the three most valued members of each team, and then try to find which team would make the best team for Titans essentially. So anyway, let's get right into it. So for I did grab some clips. I'm not gonna be editing too much for this one because of the fact that it just didn't get any views. So I'm just trying to take clips quickly and really just end this real quick, honestly. And like I said, the conclusion did take a little bit longer than I hoped, but I just had other things on the side. So, but here we are. So this is the damage side. I think the one that I have to eliminate immediately is the Lord of Hell, though. The Lord of Hell, the reason why I do say I should eliminate him is because of that very reason you just saw. He dies insanely fast, right? He dies insanely fast, and I just I think he's a great artillery unit when he's with smaller units like goblins or the centaurs, something that or minotaurs, whatever, something that can buy him room and time. But if you're not using the most like OP item on him, he's completely useless in a straight up confrontation because he's an artillery unit. He's meant to be fighting from range. He's not meant for this up close and personal stuff like Inferno. That's why Inferno lasts a lot longer than him. And I will say that I am still surprised that the damage team did lose so badly, considering that they did have what I consider the three strongest Titans, being the Lord of Hell, Inferno, and White Tiger. I definitely think those three are very valuable, and Death on top of that, Death is also really good too. Um, but they undoubtedly they just got shredded compared to the tank team. But I do think Lord of Hell is probably the biggest hiccup for them, just because of the fact that he was just so weak. And for someone that has such a long timer, more than likely, like a respawn timer, I mean, more than likely, he was the one that caused them to have so many losses as well. Just because he didn't buy enough time and he had way too long of a timer. This is how it was. He was great. He did great with the Inferno. Like, the Inferno and him do great combos. Like, they're a good combination. I honestly would say the Inferno and the Lord of Hell is one of, if not the greatest like combination with each other. Um, it's just not in a damage setting where the Inferno and Lord of Hell have to have damage items on them. Because this was damage versus defense, I do think they would have done a little bit better with defense items. But, you know, especially now that we know that defense actually does do a lot more comparatively to damage, like with Titans at least. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that the Lord of Hell was one of the biggest hurdles for this team, just because of how long he did take the spawn, and he just did not make up for it at all. The Inferno was really the only one that bought him time. It was just not enough, and I definitely think because of all these reasons, I do think the Lord of Hell was probably the biggest factor for why they lost so badly. And thus, I do think without the powerful item, that you get the end game. I don't consider that item in the game, honestly, just because it's basically an item you get because you did beat the game. But if you got the Lord of Hell, like if you actually could get the Lord of Hell and just not get that item at all, because that item can make anything good. Like, let's be honest, because you can make a goblin like stupidly strong with it. All right, that item is stupidly strong, and you only get when you beat the game. And at that point, what does it matter? At like Lord of Hell, you also only get at the end game too. But I'm saying if the game went on even more and he didn't get that item, Lord of Hell definitely did like Lord of Hell is definitely just way better with an army. He just does way better just being in the back, have some healing like statues on him or something, just something to kind of hold him over against ranged targets. So with all these things, I just think he just doesn't do well comparatively to other Titans in a Titan setting sort of deal. So I think the Lord of Hell does get eliminated. I think he didn't really bring much to the team. I think out of all these Titans, he probably did perform some of the worst work for sure. And it's with, like I said, it's with these reasons. He does get eliminated. The next person I do want to eliminate for the damage team is gonna have to probably be, well, not this, but if I can find it, a good clip of it. The Alemia. I made a tier list a long time ago saying the Alemia is bad, and I can therefore say, after using her all this time, she is bad. The Alemia does not do much. As you saw, even a small mid tier boss was able to two tap her. She has no health, hardly, for a Titan, and she doesn't make up for it with anything. She has a decent ice spell attack with her basic attacks, but it's just not enough. I definitely think that she is probably the second worst Titan in this team. Like, you cannot compare her to Death, White Tiger, or Inferno. There's just no way that's happening. Um, I would say that she only did perform better than Lord of Hell only because she bought more time. Because Lord of Hell really just did not buy much time at all. Olympia just bought time because she kept dying over and over and over again. So it's with these facts that I do think Olympia is also going to be eliminated because I don't see her being better than really anyone else on this list. Now, who was like? I'm also gonna do something like this. So like, if someone's on top and I just put someone below, whoever's on top is also gonna be labeled the best of that group for damage titans or whatever. So yeah, you'll see. But I think the most valuable member of the team, if it wasn't obvious, it's definitely the Inferno. I think the Inferno did so much for this team. The Inferno more than likely made half their missions even possible because he was able to buy enough time for the Lord of Hell to actually do some damage. There was times that he was able to just really, I mean, the Inferno just was able to get him out of really rough spots all the time. I mean, you can see right here the Inferno's once again just tearing everything up while the other like the rest of the team is fighting the boss. The Inferno bought so much time for this team, and more than likely made most of their missions just way easier. He is without a doubt the most valued member, and it's because of this that I was rate him as the MVP, the number one greatest damager out of all of them. For sure. Like, there's just no doubt about it. He just bought so much time. And speaking of buying time, the other member I do gotta mention is, of course, the White Tiger. The White Tiger also buys a lot of time because he spawns in fast, runs in fast, and as I said, he's like I even rate him an S tier in my tier list because of the fact that he is just a formidable Titan, capable of buying you so much time, and that's ultimately why I did think that when I first made these guys fight against each other, I really did think that um, Team One had it in the bag, just because between the White Tiger, Inferno, and Lord of Hell, I figured they wouldn't be able to get pushed back. But you know, the White Tiger definitely was not able to support all of them. They're just the Lord of Hell just underperformed so badly that he was just completely invaluable. And then they same as the Lemia Titans weren't good enough. It was really him, Death, and White Tiger, Inferno, and Death that were doing pretty much everything. They had to do so much, and they just couldn't support everyone else because of it. I do think the White Tiger did do better than Death, for sure. Just because he's just really strong. The White Tiger is just a formidable opponent and a very great ally to always have on your team. Let's go to the defense. So the defense guys, I think probably if I had to rate the ultimate worst one, it's kind of tough to say, but out of all of them, um, I would probably rate either the Phoenix or the Earth Golem, probably the worst out of this list. The Rock Golem he's pretty good, but the Rock Golem also the reason why I do say he didn't do as well is because he's pretty slow. But that's not like his movement speed, but that's not really the main reason. The main reason is he just really did not buy enough time comparatively to everyone else. There was a lot of missions where it did rely on him to try to hold the enemy off, and it just didn't happen. The Golem doesn't really have that much health, and unfortunately, because of their somewhat decent long spawn time, they're just not able to ever get both Golems together before one of them dies immediately. This is how it was. The Golem, without a doubt, though, is a formidable Titan, and I won't be eliminating any of the tank team until we know for sure on who we want to eliminate and who we want to keep out of all the teams. But the like I said, I do think the Golem and the Phoenix did do the worst on tank team. But who did the best? I think the best Titan, and this isn't even with just the tank team or damage team. I think out of all the Titans in the entire fucking game, I think the best Titan was the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon did so much for them. Uh, I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like a situation where the Black Dragon carried them through everything. No, there was definitely like the Angel, the Earth Dragon, the Golem, the Phoenix. They all did pretty well, right? I think all of them did really, really good together. But the Black Dragon just made everyone's life so much easier. Just be able to clear out all those minions. That's also the big problem that golems do have is minions. Their hitbox for the minions isn't exactly that large, and do have to rely on the dragon or angel to clear them out for them. Otherwise, they'll just never be able to move up. But the dragon's giant wave clear was just so helpful. And with dealing with the big guys, the black dragon just did immeasurable amount of damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he probably did if he did the most damage out of anyone, because he did a lot. So as well as these facts, I do say the Black Dragon was the MVP and probably is ultimately the best Titan in the game. Now, when it comes to the second best, it's kind of ties between Earth Dragon and the Angel, but I would have to probably say that the Earth Dragon probably deserves his spot at the second best. The reason being, the Earth Dragon is literally just a behemoth of health running around. He has the highest health slash resistance of anyone if you don't include items in it, like the overpowered as hell items. If you don't include that, he is the most valuable member when it comes to straight up durability. He has 13,000 health. He's pretty strong to pretty much everything. And although he is pretty slow, pretty sluggish, he is able to kill like the bigger targets pretty effectively as well because he does do quite high damage to single target enemies. I do think he definitely does not earn the place higher than Black Dragon simply because the Black Dragon isn't too far behind on health and can also do quite a bit of damage over him because of his AoEs and shit. But I do think that the Black Dragon and the Earth Dragon are the MVPs of the entire game, really. They're just a very formidable duo. The Earth Dragon and the Black Dragon made a lot of missions very easy just simply due to the amount of health both of them have together. When they're both up together, you're talking around 28,000 health just, that the enemy has to push through. And that's a lot of fucking health. I mean, it's a lot of health. Like, there's nothing you can go wrong with that. And it's with these reasons that I definitely think the Earth Dragon earns his spot in a second place. And since the Angel is better than the Golem and the Phoenix, she has good wave clear. She's got support. She's got supportive abilities. She's pretty strong. She's also like really good against. She doesn't have a weakness of any type. Like every Titan or most units in the game have a weakness to something, but she doesn't. She has normal resistance to everything, and she completely blocks magic. She definitely has some of the best resistances of anyone in the game. Period. Um, and she has pretty good health. She's got powerful, powerful spells. Yeah, definitely the third most valued member. Now, the question is, does the Phoenix or the Golem take out the White Tiger or Death? Because I definitely think that the Black Dragon, Earth Dragon, and the Divine Angel, they definitely stay. Like they definitely stay. Inferno stays. Inferno was definitely a formidable, opponent. He was great. But does the White Tiger or Death get eliminated? Honestly, I still think the White Tiger is one of the best Titans in the game, even after all of this. I think the White Tiger is just a formidable time giver. He puts 110% in everything he does. Runs in, dies, runs in, dies, runs in, dies, and you don't gotta wait that long for him to respond. He's very strong. He can slash through an entire armies like nothing. I definitely think White Tiger is one of the best. I don't think he's better than Inferno. I don't think he's better than the Black Dragon in this case. I don't think he's better than either dragon. He kind of rivals the Divine Angel, maybe a little bit better just because of his speed. But I wouldn't eliminate the Divine Angel because of that. I wouldn't eliminate her with the Golem or the Phoenix. So I think Phoenix I think the Black Dragon, Inferno, and Earth Dragon. Did I say Earth? I think I don't know. But Black Dragon, Earth Dragon, Inferno, and Divine Angel, I think are all safe. I think White Tiger's safe. I don't think. I don't think Golem. I definitely don't think Golem beats White Tiger. I don't think Phoenix beats White Tiger. But do they eliminate Death? Death is simply just a worse version of the Angel. I do like both of them a lot, but I do have to admit, for the overall best, I think Death has to get eliminated with someone. I'm not exactly sure who, but if I had to say which one is ultimately better, I do think if I had to choose between those two, between these three, so between these three right here, Golem, Phoenix, and Death. Um, I think the one that I'd have to eliminate would be. I do think the Golem. I think because of his low speed, he's got formidable health with both Titans of himself, but he just doesn't really do much when he's alive. He hasn't really had that good of spells. The wall definitely helped the tank team to win against the Inferno, though. That's one thing that was great about it. But when it comes to damage, when it comes to health, he just doesn't really have it. He definitely does have a little bit more, like collectively between since he does have two of him. I do think that he you know does get some bonus points for that, but at the same time, it's like the enemy also always has those guys, the golems, and they're always just way stronger. I just don't know. I don't think I would really rate him over Death or Phoenix. It's because Death and Phoenix both have very powerful abilities, and they also have pretty good dashes that can actually prohibit them from taking damage at all. Um, so with because of these things, and they are also faster, and they have pretty good quick respawn times too. I do think the Golem gets eliminated. Now it's with these two, Phoenix or Death. Ultimately, I do think Death gets eliminated. I think the Phoenix does better at preventing getting hit, and it also just generally has more health. I actually forget how much more damage it has, but I know that it has a little for heal, which doesn't really matter since the Angel's here. But again, the Angel does everything that Death does, but better. And the Phoenix actually has some unique abilities that no one else here has, like Heat Blast, like the Fire Blast spells, and the like level 4 healing, which only the Angel has. Um, no one else has that type of like spell. And just like I said, the durability that the Phoenix has over Death is it's just better. It really is. So it's just because of all these things that I do eliminate Death. And yeah, there we go. The six best Titans in the game. Um, Now let's make this a little bit more interesting. Who would be the the best of best? Like from top to bottom, top being best and bottom being worst. Uh, I would say definitely Black Dragon top, Earth Dragon second. I think I do think Inferno's third. Between the White Tiger and Divine Angel, I do think just because of the sheer amount of time he buys, I do think that that counts for something. Buying time is a huge part of this game, and I definitely think he does it. But I do think the Phoenix does go at the very bottom, but all are pretty formidable. I think that's how I would go. So there you have it. That is the conclusion of tanks versus damage and who is ultimately the best out of all the Titans from bottom to best. Or, sorry, from top to bottom and the top being best to bottom being the worst. But these are the six best Titans of the game that I would say. And yeah, I think that wraps everything up pretty nicely. Um, this will probably be my final Epic War 5 video. ever unless in demand of it. Um, which I'm not sure if anyone would ever want to see this game again, but as it stands, it's not really getting that many views, and I've kind of done everything I could with it. I mean, there is still a few things I can think of, like melee versus rangers, cannon fodder, like a bunch of cannon fodder versus, or sorry, quality versus quantity for units. So basically having like the strongest like minions sort of deal versus like a bunch of like the largest numbers of units sort of deal, like goblins, hobbits, dwarves and all that. I was gonna do a bunch of things like that, but you know, I think with this being the Titans and everything, and with it just not getting any views, unless like I said, unless it gets in high demand for it, I think that this will be, or if the videos do pick up a bit more for like views and subs and all that, if that picked up a little bit more for these videos, then maybe I'll consider doing another thing like this. But honestly, it was a lot of editing, a lot of footage that I had to cut out. Like collectively, that just took around 3 to 4 hours, or not. Sorry, not three. Collectively, it actually took like around like 5 to 6 hours, maybe even a little more than that, to make these videos, despite it being a more simple game. I had to cut a lot of footage out to get the results from all these missions and making the tier list to begin with. I mean, I had to do a lot for it, and it just really underperformed, unfortunately. So this is how it is sometimes. But like I said, this may be the final Epic War 5 video we will ever have on the channel. It's been fun while it lasted. I'm glad to see the end of it. If we ever do come back to this game, it'd be kind of nice, but it probably won't happen. But anyway, if you guys like this, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.